trending today. The Gallup polling organization reports that President Trump's approval rating is in the tank. They say it's way lower than President Obama's was at any time during his presidency. And they say that spells big trouble for Trump. But should we believe these polls, considering the polls were so wrong in the last election? Maybe we should believe crowds rather than polls, like the standing room only crowd in Louisville at the Kentucky Expo Center.
This place is packed. We are going to drain the swamp of government corruption in Washington, D.C. And we are going to keep our promises, all of the promises that we made.
Well, if you believe the crowd, they're no less enthusiastic about President Trump than they were on Election Day. But the pollsters say Trump is in the tank. Who do you believe? Here with me now, Twitter superstar Bill Mitchell. Bill, welcome back to the show. Good to have you. Hi. Bill, you saw those people. That's a heck of a crowd. Nothing has changed about that, Bill. Why should we believe the pollsters who were wrong all the way through the whole election?
Well, let's specify that we're not believing the pollsters. We're believing the pollster, the one pollster. Gallup is such an outlier here that accusing them of being an outlier is actually going to get me sued by the Outlier Association. They are that far out of the mainstream. We have two other polls right now, concurrent polls right now. Politico, and I never thought I would praise a Politico poll in my life, but they have Trump at 52%. Rasmussen today has Trump at 50%. Let me explain something real quickly to your audience. The difference between, and this is like the stock market, where you have the fundamental value of the company and you have the stock price. And a lot of times there's a bubble there. There's a big difference there. And what's happening right now is the fundamental value of Trump right now is what we're seeing in those rallies, is what we're seeing in consumer confidence that's off the charts, business confidence off the charts, investor confidence off the charts, CEO confidence, that record levels higher than it's ever been before. And those are the fundamentals. And then you have the stock price, which is polls like the Gallup poll. It doesn't make any sense. How can you have all these people thrilled with the direction of the company and yet they hate the guy who's steering the boat? It's just impossible. It's a broken poll. It's a wrong poll. It makes no sense. I think Donald Trump's, also you got to remember that these national polls are skewed by the fact that blue states are 2-to-1 blue, whereas red states are probably maybe like a quarter advantage red. So the fact that the blue states are so much bluer than the red states are red, it skews the entire poll. So then you add the fact they oversampled Democrats. During the election cycle, we were looking at D+10, D+12, D+16 samples, absolutely preposterous. We had an R+1 electorate in this election, and they're oversampling Democrats by 12 and 15 points. So these national polls are complete, like Gallup, are complete baloney. They're intended just to lead the news cycle. They're intended to give the broken mainstream media that nobody trusts anymore something to talk about. They are premise generators, and that is it. They are not real, I promise you.
But Bill, you tracked these all the way through the election. I know because I watched your Twitter feed, and you would say the exact same things you're saying today, only you were talking about it during the election where they were saying this is the evidence, it's concrete proof. Donald Trump is going to lose the election. He doesn't stand a chance. Even Hillary and her folks believed that. So I guess the question then becomes, to what degree do the polls make the opinion, right? Because at a certain point, when the polls become news and the mainstream media uses the polls to report the news when they really don't have any news to report, then, how much does that lead public opinion away from the things that President Trump is trying to get done, like the confirmation of Gorsuch, like the health care bill, like the wall, and all the other changes that he wants to make?
Well, the good news is I don't even have to guess on this. The evidence is in, and the evidence says fake polling has no effect whatsoever, with one exception. This is the problem the Democrats have. Democrats lie. They lie a lot. They lie so often they start to believe their own lie, and then they base their strategy going forward not on reality, but on the lie they told. They forget that all this stuff, these polls were a lie. These polls told Hillary not to go to Michigan. They told Hillary not to go to Wisconsin. They told Hillary not to go to Pennsylvania. She lost those states. She lost the White House. So these polls right now are having no effect on the electorate that matters. Donald Trump wastes no energy. He doesn't score points he doesn't need to score. Right now, Trump is very solidly winning with the areas he needs to win with to go ahead and win in 2018, win in 2020, and win with his agenda. He's playing long ball. He's planning on being in office for 8 years. When you watch a football game, do they throw a long bomb every play? No, they lose the game. They do running plays. And sometimes they run the ball right into the middle of the line and get 0 yards. You're like, why did they do that? They got 0 yards. Because that running play makes the defense collapse in, so it opens up the middle of the field for the deep pass later. So right now what Trump is doing is, and this is why maybe it knocks his approval points down a little bit, he is setting up the big plays later. He's creating the micro leverages throughout the marketplace to set up the big plays later. And he's rope-a-doping the Democrats. They think, oh, his approval rating is terrible. No, they're not. No, they're not. You saw that rally. We love him. I'm on Twitter every day. We're as motivated and excited as we've ever been. This is all delusion. We are winning.
Yeah, I've never seen an enthusiasm like I've seen for him.